Hello, welcome back to my Flosstube, or welcome if this is your first time visiting. I am Sen, I am an artist and designer, and this is my little place on the YouTube for everything cross-stitch. I hope you are well and that you have your favorite beverage and some cross-stitch on hand. And if you like your time here and what you see, then please do leave a like and subscribe so that you do not miss any future videos. So for this one, I did decide that I wanted to do a little January roundup, as I am starting to take better, or at least to try and take better notes, so that I get a bit of order into all of my myriads of whips. And while I do not necessarily have a very good brain for numbers, truth be told, I don't have a brain for numbers at all, but I do like people, like when other Flosstubers or stitchers on Instagram show like their numbers, how many stitches they have done in a set amount of time and stuff like that. I do like that. And I kind of want that for my projects as well, so that I can better see how much I actually worked on them and when I worked on them, because I have so many, right? And sometimes, I don't know, I feel like I did not do any progress on them at all, because I have amassed so many whips in such a short amount of time. And so yeah, I have a spreadsheet now that one kind lady, I'm sorry that I do not remember the name, in one of the Facebook groups I'm in, provided. So yeah, I can actually do count my I count my stitches with my digital stitching app. I use Markup XP because I'm an iPad user. It's similar to Pattern Keeper. I know that's what most people use. So I can now not just count them, but also keep track of them, and then it gives me a monthly overview for all of the projects I worked on in a month. So I tried that, and so I can share that with you if that's something that you're interested in. I might as well continue doing that. But for now, this is basically a first try of doing a little monthly roundup. And if I look to either side of me, then that is where I have my spreadsheet and my notes and everything. So for January, oh yeah, and before I forget to say, this is scatterbrain time. Today is January the 5th. It is Monday morning. And also, yeah, apologies if I look a little bit out of it, because I have not had breakfast yet. I wanted to get this video done before I head out grocery shopping and then start working for the day. And we've been out at a convention all day yesterday. So we left early in the morning and we got back late in the evening, tabling at an artist event. But yeah, I'm going off on a tangent, don't I? So in January, I did work on a total of 11 projects. Most of which, no, I think all of which I showed you in my last video. Or I think all but 2 that I will show today. I had 4 finishes, which I definitely did show you in my last Flosstube, so if you want to see them, just head back to the previous video. I had a total of 5 new starts, 3 of which are finished. I also did finish, and 2 of which I am going to one of which I'm going to show you, and the other, that's what I mean with not having proper notes. Let's see, I have had 5 new starts, 3 of which are finished, and 2 of which it was not 5 new starts, and it was 4 new starts. See, and 1 new start was in February. I'm a mess, I'm sorry. My total stitch count of January was 10,611. So that may be much for some, and for others it may not. I mean, I saw some people who do these roundups that had over 40,000. And when I fully work on only full coverages, then that can happen for me as well, because I do 10 stitch, but I also for full coverages, but I count a 10 stitch as a stitch. So I don't say like this is just half a stitch and I need to do double the amount of stuff like that. That's a stitch is a stitch for me. That's not the total number, because I worked on at least one project, like my Lebanon lace Celtic Autumn, that I do not count the stitches for, because that's a paper pattern, and it is very small and folded and everything, and I do not have a way, or haven't managed a way to put that into markup yet. So that's, and I don't manually count stitches. That is that's a bit too much for me to do. So yeah, that's my January roundup basically. So, and with that I have a few other things to talk about and to show you. Obviously I did a bit of stitching over this past week, and yeah, it's just been a week since my last Flosstube. I do not know if I will continue doing weekly Flosstubes again. That probably depend. I mean, I want to, but sometimes I might not have anything to share. So while I stitch a lot, there might be weeks where I just work on 1 or 2 projects because it's a busy week, and I don't know if that's very interesting. But we will see. I mean, this week I also only worked, this past week, I also only worked on 3 projects in total, so which I'm gonna show you now. 2 of which are actually the new starts. One that I started in late January after my last Flosstube, and the other one I started later last week, which already was February. That's why I probably got confused with 4 or 5 new starts. And both of them are new designs I made. So this is also like a little, not preview, because they are already available in my shop, but the first time that I'm going to show them on my Flosstube. The first one I made is this one. It's Queen Bee, and this is this cute little chibi-styled girl, or more like lady, because she's the queen bee, right? And I love these tiny little bees that she has here. You can see them. And this only has a few colors, so let me see how many this have. Oh, it's not that few. We need to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 10. I think it's 16 colors in this one, because I do like to do a bit of shading on my patterns. You can see here in her skirt. I mean, you can always switch the these out for like a variegated floss or something like that. That's probably gonna look lovely as well. But I do usually make my designs with just DMC colors, because I don't have very good access to all of the fancy floss. They are very expensive here, if you can even get them. I mean, I know our local needlework store, before it closed, had some of them, but most of them are like American, like the ones that everybody knows. I think they're almost all American, and I'm in Germany, so I can't just freely buy them everywhere. I can probably order them, but then again, I am on a very limited budget. And the second one that I made later the week is this one. It's like a companion piece, but it's more like a sampler style. And sometimes I do love the simplicity and the order of samplers like these. So I thought, why not make one? And since I was in a bee mode, to be honest, I'm not a great fan of bugs, but bees and butterflies and dragonflies are an exception. I absolutely adore them, and I mean, bees are so cute, aren't they? We need to have more bees, and I'm very sad that they are endangered in so many places of the world already. So my parents' neighbor has bees, and a lot of people that I know have started keeping their own bees. Like my great uncle had some, I think his son has them. But yeah, in the countryside where I'm from, like where my parents live, a lot of people are keeping bees. And even here in the city, close to where we live, there's a beekeeper, and when you walk, you can like walk past his garden, and he has like this a huge he has like a huge garden, and has a lot of beehives in that garden. And I mean, it's not dangerous or anything to walk past it, because you can't get close to the beehives, but there's like a lot of bees, and there's a graveyard right next to it, and they probably go there for all of the flowers. So that's kind of neat. But yeah, this is the beehive sampler, and this is the one. Only has 3 colors, like the black and a lighter yellow and a darker yellow or orange, however you want to see it. And I think this one would look especially lovely with variegated flosses. I will stitch this with some variegated flosses that I can get, which I'm gonna talk about when I show you the whips, because I'm currently also stitching the models for both of them. Can put them side to side. And also, yeah, so these are almost the same size. I think the sampler is a bit larger than the queen bee, or the other way around, but since this is like, you can always, if you want to put them together, leave a bit more space around the actual designs with the floss. And so my lovely friend Dobby earlier had the idea that to make these into a pillow, like put the queen bee on one side and put the sampler one on the other side. And I'm actually quite curious to see that whenever she starts that. So there's that. I mean, I will probably just frame them and hang them up with my other models. So then let me show you the whips of these, which are part of the 3 or 4 that I worked on last week. Just need to get them out of there. Starting with the queen bee. This is her. Well, this is how far I am with her. I'm stitching her on this green Ada. It's a mystery fabric. I talked about that before. I sometimes buy fabric scraps in a packet, in like smaller packs from eBay or other places. So they don't come with a tag. So I don't know which size they are or what color they are called or whatever. I mean, this might as well be a hand dyed, for all I know. Definitely looks a little bit like a hand dyed. There's this very subtle modeling here. And I got a larger piece of this, so I actually managed to stitch both of the bee patterns on the same fabric. So that will definitely, I think definitely look nice to put them on the wall, and I love the combination of green and yellow. So green it was for her. This is how far I am. And if I manage to get my notes over here, she is, let's see, I have done a total of 972 stitches on her so far, which is 15.29%. And I do think this is either an 18 count or a 20, no, it's most likely an 18 count, which for these designs, it's one of my favorite. Because I don't really like 14 counts, or 16 or 18 is what I try to go with for designing. But yeah, I plan on finishing her this month. We'll see how that goes. Originally, I had planned to only put designs in my Etsy shop once I finish the models for it. But while I stitch most or all of my models myself, that is, I can't stitch that much. I only have 2 hands and so many hours in a week, or more like so many hours in a day. So I'm putting them up first, and once I finish the model, I update them in my shop and put the model in there, and also on the on the pattern. But yeah, this is Queen Bee. It's gonna be Queen Bee when she is done. And then let me show the other one. This is also still a tiny start, because I have not received the variegated flosses yet. I hope they will come today. Hi, this is Editing Sen. So just as I was heading out to grocery shopping, these a bit of mail arrived. So I actually did just get the flosses for that I ordered. And so let me grab them so I can show them to you. So the two colors that I ordered are these ones. Let's see, how do I best do this? It is a light yellow and an orange, and you can see the variegation in them. And I'm looking quite forward to see how they actually look on the project when I'm doing it, because I already have one color, I think, one or two colors from this brand, and I found them on Amazon. I don't exactly know what the brand name is. I suppose that it is, oh, there's Seto again, that it is this one here, Nitama, from Czech. And yeah, they are available on Amazon here in Germany. So I don't know if they how you can get them if you are not in Germany. So but if you are and you want to try these out, let me know. I can give you a link to the listings. They have many colors, and I do prefer these over most of the DMC variegated flosses, because most of the DMC variegated flosses have a lot of white in them from when I saw them in our needlework store, and I'm not too fond of there being so much white in the color variegation. I prefer them when they are a bit more, what's the word? A bit more subtle, not too stark in contrast. But I always talk about that when I work with variegated flosses. So, but yeah, that's the two that I got for the beehive. So we will see how that works out, right? But we will see about that as well. So you see, the same fabric. And since this is not, the modeling and the color is on both sides, I don't think this is printed. I think this is more like hand-dyed of sorts. But this is how far I am with the beehive sampler. Not very far, because I started it late last week and then I had to prepare for the market yesterday. So just one of the tiny bees over here done. And the second one started. And this one also I'm gonna continue working on over this week, most likely, as soon as I get the variegated flosses. So next time I can show you them, and we will see how that ends up looking. I mean, hopefully, if they arrive, you never know. So other things I worked on last week is 2 more whips. Oh yeah, the beehive sampler. See, I have my notes open and I still forget. So the beehive sampler, I have not added the total number of stitches to my spreadsheet yet. But I have it on my markup, so I can check for it there. So let's just see how far I am with those few stitches. So as I said, probably not far. We are at 6%. It has a total of 5,891 stitches, and I have 356 of that done for 6%. So let me put my iPad away. But next whip I worked on, and these are just are actual whips from that I brought over into this year, is The Garlic Dragon by Stanley Morrison. Artwork by Stanley Morrison. and charted by Paint Free Crafts. I was totally enabled last year to start this by another Flosstuber, which unfortunately again I did not write down, but if it ever comes back to me I will definitely mention that, because isn't he cute? We know I love my dragons, right? Dragons are a theme. Dragons and purple and green and nature patterns and pretty houses are among my favorite things to stitch. So I have been looking at this one for a while, and I'm not sure if there was a sale or anything when I picked him up, but at one point I just couldn't not pick him up, and so I started him, and I started him in, let's check, started him on the 22nd of, what's that in English, of September last year. It's not a massive full coverage. It has 101,672 stitches. And with what I worked on last week, which was what I can say, yeah, what speaking is hard, which was a total of 1,401 stitches last week, I am currently at 14%. No, definitely not 14%. I jumped into the wrong, oh, look who's here again. Or jumped into the wrong column. Hello, Seto. Do you want to say hi? Do you want to say hi? Say hi. Say hi. Say hi. My boy. So, it is 2.64%. And there's a hanging thread. Oh, 2 hanging threads. Because I stopped working on this one, so without finishing it, the thread. This is where it's at. Did a lot of work here in this part of the sky. And I'm gonna put a picture of where it was last time, which was in my whip parade. So you can see the difference of how much has been done on this one. And while I'm gravitating a lot towards smalls again, I still do love full coverages, and because sometimes they, in comparison to the smalls that I actually do stitch in full cross, my full coverage patterns that I stitch in Sen.Stitch go so fast and so smooth, unless they are confetti central, which I also have, but I also enjoy, because I do love me some detail. But yeah, that is the garlic dragon that I totally picked up for my dragon collection, because I could not resist. And the last pattern that I worked on last week on Saturday, and a little bit, I don't know, I don't think I worked on it on Saturday, but I definitely worked on it last night. So yeah, that was last night. Is, I'll put this away because that does not matter, is this one by the Tiny Modernist. And I could not agree with the sentiment more, because coffee is definitely always a good idea. As for me though, I only drink decaf because I do not tolerate caffeine to an extent. I mean, I do to an extent. But if I get too much caffeine, my anxiety spikes, and I'd rather not have that happen. So I drink decaf. For me, that's basically the same. It tastes the same. And it, I mean, coffee never kept me awake, and what coffee is supposed to do, right? So I technically have the same placebo effect when I drink decaf coffee. It's just I love the taste of coffee, and I love the fact that it's a hot drink that I drink during the day, and I don't want to just drink water all day. So that's why I always love my coffee, and I need to have my coffee, even if it's decaf. This is a free pattern on the Tiny Modernist's website, so you can go and grab it if you want to. There is a companion piece to this with tea, though I'm not I like tea, but I'm not a big tea drinker, so I don't know if I will stitch that as well, but for now I'm working on this one. I started it sometime last year. I don't know the exact date because Smart Me did not write it down. This is how far I am with it. I changed the colors a bit because I'm stitching these with unbranded floss that I have. Because for these tiny patterns that only have a few colors, I tend to just use those unbranded flosses that I cannot use for anything else. So just color match, and then yeah, I choose the colors that I like, and these are the ones I chose. So they are basically more or less the same colors, just like not the DMC numbers. I just match them because as you saw, the design is already brown and teal, and our kitchen is in teal and white. So when this is finished, it will go up in the kitchen, and the teal that will be here and in the coffee cups you saw earlier below is also teal. And I think this will look great in the kitchen because my friend that I live with is a coffee junkie, just like me. So that fits us very well. So I'm gonna also put a picture here where it was before, which was a very, very sad little start. So this might actually have been a mania pattern, but I honestly do not remember. So, but yeah, that's what I worked on last week. It is not much because I'm not jumping around switching patterns every day again. So every day still. I'm sorry. I'm always like this. So I hope it doesn't bother you too much. If you can relate, welcome. Scatterbrained is a theme. So, but yeah, that's what I worked on. Let me know what you think of my new designs. I'm very curious to know, and if they speak to you, if you like them, if you want to join me in stitching those cute little bees, then go ahead and pick up the patterns in my Etsy shop. They are there for you to get if you like them, and we will hopefully see each other again next week, which will actually, if I do choose to film next Monday, will actually be my birthday. So we will see about that, right? Maybe I will check in. So until then, I hope you enjoyed what you saw. And if you're new here, again, I have a few videos that I already did. So if you want to, go back and check those out. My whip parade has been sitting there for a few weeks now, since the start of January. If that's something you enjoy, whip parades are among my favorite Flosstube videos to watch. And I'm still not done with watching all of them. There are so many, and I always love finding new Flosstubers to watch through whip parades. I think that's what most of us do, right? We find new people to watch. But yeah, if you enjoyed your time here, thank you for being here. And yeah, if you enjoyed your time, please do leave a like and subscribe, and also leave me a comment down in the comment section below. I always love to chat. And yeah, until next time, have a nice day. Bye.